been a while. Yep. Thank you for simulating this, researcher Len. What is this? It's like cold and head. Why? What is this? Why would you simulate brain freeze? Bitch? Please tell me you didn't hit the live button already. God damn it. Hello, my fellow Gen-E residents. Oh god, the audio's doubled in that. not a great start. Okay, there, I fixed the issue. Okay, so Look, Cotton, just because I'm late, it doesn't mean that I can't, enjoy simulations of milk and milk-related products. Because maybe I need it. Maybe I need the milk. I almost said milky. What the fuck is wrong with me? I might have issues. Anywho, let me go ahead and change the ambiance a little. There we go. That's a little bit more. It's a little bit more office-like. What's an SCP? What's an SCP reading without a little bit of office ambiance? Alright, now listen up. As I stated before, I'm just doing this kind of for myself a little. Not the whole being in a dress or my titties might break out again. Thanks for that, by the way, Aki, bitch. But I mean that I've been wanting to kind of just read some SCP documents. I think the last time I did this for you folks was, it was back on that one stream on VR chat where I sat in the middle and everybody tried to draw me on little canvases. Yes, everybody could use a little I'm really trying to avoid saying it, but milkies? I just gotta say milk simulation, because if I keep saying milkies, it's gonna summon Doc from the ether. Anywho, as promised in the announcements before, I'm going to be just speaking just a little softly. And I'm going to be reading some SCP documents that I've personally never read before. Over the years, I've actually read quite a few in order, just on and off. I'm currently up to SCP 1271. But everybody knows in the community, you just say the number, digits individually, SCP-1271. So I'm going to do that for any documents I read for you. Fine, degenerates. So let's go ahead and begin, and try to keep the ASMR tone as best as I can. I'm not sure how long I'll make this last, but you'll just have to see. SCP already fucking up, right? SCP number 1271. Object class is Euclid. Special containment procedures. Fencing is to be constructed around the area containing SCP-1271, with a space of 75 meters between the fencing and SCP-1271. Oh, I also just realized I should probably do some other ASMR things. Here's some crinkling. You like that? Just keep it together. Fine, I'll purr. Let's continue. Scratching. I can't really... I guess I could simulate a scratch noise from my speakers. Try. Not sure how well that came out. Not a cat. Not a cat. The perimeter is to be monitored by no fewer than 5 guards at any given time, who are to deny all civilians access to SCP-1271. Guards to be equipped with high-powered cameras with telephoto lenses and are to be trained in their use. SCP-1271 is to be monitored via video surveillance at all times. During a 1271-A event, all guards are...
I'm adorable.
Setting the timer. Are instructed to prevent the commencement of the SCP-1271-A event and detain all civilians involved. Observe the 127-A event and attempt to detain civilians. Nope, they've crossed that section out. Rephrasing. Are instructed to maintain a distance of 25 meters or greater from SCP-1271 during the event, and make no attempt to contact or interact with any civilians involved. During 1271-A events, guards are to take as many close-in photographs of the faces of civilians using SCP-1271 as possible. No fewer than 12 parabolic microphones with diameters of 17 meters are to be trained on the field at any given time. During 1271-A events, microphones are to be focused on individual civilians, and all spoken dialogue is to be recorded to aid in identification of affected civilians. All audio and visual data for each civilian are to be compiled and cross-referenced against all available databases using facial recognition software. Under no circumstances are Foundation personnel to enter within 25 meters of SCP-1271 during a 1271-A event. Under no circumstances is any Foundation technology to be left within SCP-1271 except during authorized testing. All individuals identified as having participated in any 1271-A event are to be detained at Site 34 and questioned. Description. SCP-1271 is a square tract of land approximately 20 meters on each side. Hold on. minute, this better not give me brain freeze again. So far, no brain freeze. So far. I'm sorry. I know it's a little unprofessional of me. Moron says, insert the gif of a cat wolfing down a sandwich like it's never eaten a day in its life. I'm not too sure I remember this image. I think a funnier comparison would be that one cat that just unhinges its jaw and just eats an entire bowl of food like a monster. I think people have seen that video of that weird cat. We now return to your regularly scheduled reading. SCP-1271 is a square tract of land approximately 20 meters on each side, roughly landscaped into a functional kickball field. The field comprised a portion of the grounds of the Scheckler Elementary School in Catasauqua, Pennsylvania, before the school was closed in 1967. The grounds have been abandoned ever since. Approximately once per year, typically within 2 weeks of the summer solstice, SCP-1271 will become occupied by 16 civilians, ranging from 5 to 11 years of age. The means by which these civilians, identified here as SCP-1271 1 through 16, travel to SCP-1271 is entirely unknown. Civilians have been noted originating from every continent and 124 countries. All affected civilians demonstrate symptoms of a trance state and are unwilling or unable to communicate with or acknowledge Foundation researchers in any way. Most children who are located, identified, and interviewed later claim to have no memory of their activities involving 1271 and are unable to contribute to Foundation understanding of the mechanisms underlying SCP-1271. Upon arriving at the site of SCP-1271, civilians will begin carrying out a game of kickball, according to accepted conventions of game rules. These games are referred to as 1271A events. Civilians will divide themselves into 2 teams of 8 apiece and play 3 full innings. Throughout the game, the civilians will display body language indicating pleasure and enjoyment, including smiling faces, laughing, and excited speech. The speech itself typically involves a syntax and vocabulary closely resembling the Unami language of the indigenous American Indian population of the region. At the conclusion of the game, the players will bow in the direction of the pitcher's mound and conduct a brief chant in the Unami language before disappearing. All the affected civilians reach the perimeter of SCP-1271. As the affected civilians reach the perimeter, they disappear from the area via an unknown form of teleportation. 2 additional anomalous effects have been noted with regards to SCP-1271. First, when individuals not summoned to SCP-1271 enter within 25 meters of the field during these events, these individuals will begin participating in the game. This participation will divide evenly between the 2 teams, either substituting for exhausted players or carrying out work of such as supplying water or towels to the players. At the conclusion of the game, individuals affected in this way disappear in the same manner as affected civilians. No affected Foundation personnel have yet been recovered. The second anomalous effect associated with SCP-1271 is documented in Addendum 1271-1. Look at Mad Marauder on a streak. I appreciate. Thank you for your streak. I'd had no idea this was a thing that was added, but I guess we'll just celebrate it now. Have a good night, Mad. Hopefully my reading will lullaby you to a nice, safe sleep. Continuing on, my degenerates. Addendum 1271-1 documented patterns of affected civilians. Since the Foundation began monitoring SCP-1271 in 1972, 480 civilian children from around the world have been affected by SCP-1271. Efforts to determine the identities of affected civilians began shortly thereafter and was aided by the digitization and computerization of Foundation records and databases during the 1980s. Fucking morons. We had that stuff decades earlier than them. Sorry, tangent. Through the use of facial recognition software, the Foundation has been able to identify 126 of the civilians affected to date. During standard correlational analysis of the identified civilians, certain patterns were detected relating specifically to the position played by affected civilians. For purposes of this analysis, the team that begins the game on offense is designated red, while the team beginning the game on defense is designated blue. The polar opposite of Team Fortress 2, I see. To date, only 10% of recovered civilians have any memory of their experiences with SCP-1271. And there is an addendum of different frequencies noted. We'll briefly go through them. Each of these designations have an additional number on them for a total of 16 designated people. So for 127-1, Red Team First Baseman First Kicker develops and pursues an interest in banking, leading to an executive level position at a major international banking firm. 30 total instances, 9 identified, 7 having given trait. SCP-1271-2, Red Team's Second Baseman Second Kicker, dies before age 18, 30 total instances, 11 identified, 11 having given trait. SCP-1271-3, Red Team Third Baseman Third Kicker, pursues interest in education, becomes a college-level economics professor, 30 total instances, 7 identified, 7 having given trait. SCP-1271-4, Red Team Roller, 4th Kicker, none have been identified yet. SCP-1271-5, Red Team Utility Outfield, 5th Kicker, develops interest in aeronautics, taking a high-ranking job in American, Russian, or Chinese space development agencies. 30 total instances, 10 identified, 9 haven't given trait. SCP-1271-6, Red Team Left Outfield, 6th Kicker, becomes trusted advisor to an individual in a position of authority over an international body of some kind. List of specific individuals and qualifying bodies are included in Document 1271-Beta. 30 total instances, 11 identified, 10 having given trait. SCP-1271-7, Red Team Center Outfield, 7th Kicker, dies at age 23, specifically. 30 total instances, 7 identified, 6 having given traits. Okay, good job, moron. Well behaved. I appreciate it. The 8th kicker is famous for visual arts. These are following the same pattern. I'm just gonna kind of speed through these a little for you. So, -9 is blue team first baseman, first kicker. They have find interest in chemistry, usually pharmacology. Usually several instances are personally responsible for the development of breakthrough drugs for a variety of illnesses. 30 total, 15 identified, 14 having the given trait. -10, blue team's second baseman, takes up a career in politics, becomes a head of state or high-ranking politician. We're not going to care as much about the instances here. I'm just going to go through the things quicker. -11 is blue team third, becomes addicted to barbiturates before age 25 and dies before age 27. -12, blue team roller fourth kicker. None have been identified yet. Oh, sorry, none have yet been identified. 1271-13, blue team left outfield. Gains a position of leadership. No pattern has yet been determined beyond this. Roles can vary from corporate chairman to factory foreman, but will involve high levels of authority. -14, blue team center outfield. Develops interest in religion, becomes an authoritative figure in a religious movement. Religions involved may vary and typically are global in reach. However, 2 identified instances have led cults involving data expunged. -15. Blue team right outfield. Develops interest in electronics technology. Becomes known as an innovative engineer, pioneering in telecom or internet technology. And the final, -16. Blue team utility outfield. None have yet been identified. There are 3 interview logs under Addendum 1271-2. The first log is -11-Gamma. -11-Gamma served as third baseman for the blue team in an SCP-1271-A event that transpired in 1981. His image was identified using photo recognition and aging software in 1994. In a collegiate catalog from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. I think that's how it's pronounced. Chattanooga. Yeah, I don't know what's with the watch streaks. I think that's a new thing they added. It's like when they added levels to Team Fortress 2 for no good reason, and they think my level is honest. They think that the level is so inaccurate to how long I've actually played. Regardless. The interview is between 11-Gamma and Dr. Hicks. We will start with Dr. Hicks. Have you ever consumed illegal narcotics? 11-Gamma. Never before whatever it was that happened when I was a kid. We lived in a good neighborhood. My mom told me about drugs, told me not to try them. This was back in the late 70s, you know? That stuff was everywhere. But she raised me right, and it wasn't always easy. Could you elaborate? Well, like I said, that was how she raised me. And that was how things were back in the day, but things got bad around the time I was, I think, 12 or so. Note that subject 11-Gamma was 11 years of age when event 1271-A-1971 transpired. 11-Gamma. Yeah, I don't know. My dad, he was this real straight-laced guy, right? Factory worker out at the Goodyear plant. Amazing guy, hard worker. And then one day, it seems like the cops show up. Dr. Hicks. The drug arrest, correct? 11 Gamma. Yeah. Phenobarbital. He was fine one day. He was in jail the next. They didn't have evidence to hold him, so he got out. And he was such a fucking prick after that. I swear to God. Behavior changes? Yeah, he and my mom both. They were so in love before, and then suddenly it was... Jesus, it was a nightmare. He was hitting me. He was hitting her. She wouldn't leave. She loved him. He was doing drugs, then she was doing drugs. I swear to God, it got so bad. He wanted me to start doing drugs, said it would calm me down, said it would keep me from thinking I was better than him. Tried to make me take them. That's when I left. You ran away? Yeah, I tried the guidance counselor. It was like she wasn't even there. Teachers, too. I just booked it, left town. Look, I got out of there, went a few towns over, got into a foster program. It sucked exactly as much as you think, but I just stayed in the books, you know? Kept my head down. And avoided drugs. It was hard. Everyone was into it around me, tried to push it on me, all that shit you get in DARE, the peer pressure, violence, everything. All the way into college. It seems like everyone around me got into it, either right before or right after I met them. And they all wanted to share. It got worse the older I got. I graduated a few months ago. I was glad to get away from that. Dr. Hicks, I understand. Notes. Approximately 3 days before 11-Gamma's 25th birthday, Dr. Hicks... Am I reading this right? Dr. Hicks assaulted him and forcibly injected phenobarbital into his system. No orders to do so had been given. 11-Gamma developed an addiction and was terminated attempting to assault a nurse 4 months later. Dr. Hicks claimed temporary insanity. Medical tests revealed a small brain tumor had developed, impairing his judgment. Not sure if I should read the other two. I'm just checking if there's anything important in them. Apparently one of the logs is actually, ironically, one of the SCP researchers got dragged into the matter. Didn't go well. They knew too many codes. We'll move on to the next document then. Up next will be SCP-1272. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1272's constituent artifacts are to be maintained at a range of no closer than 41 meters and no more distant than 74 kilometers. No two artifacts with a collective W-axis deviations of greater than 38 degrees are to approach within 8 kilometers of any other topological anomaly. Due to the continuing risk of containment breach, all objects are to be affixed to their pedestals with permanent restraints upon successful containment. Due to risks presently posted by SCP-1272-06, active containment efforts are presently suspended. Revised containment procedures are pending. After a breach of containment protocols on March 27, 1973, SCP-1272-01, 02, 03, and 04 remain uncontained. Until such a time as containment is reestablished, one containment team is to either enter the anomaly every 4 months, attempt to reach the containment vault door, and attempt to contact previous containment teams to advise them to deviate from pre-2003 containment protocols. Before approaching the topological singularity, agents assigned to the containment team must undergo psychological pre-screening. At pre-screening, containment agents should be advised that at present topological density, successful containment is expected to be completed on March 18th, 2394, 423 years from initial entry. Present suicidal ideation is non-disqualifying. At agent's request, Foundation survivor benefits are to be paid to the designated beneficiary immediately upon entry into the containment area. Ooh, spicy. Sorry. It's a delicious simulation. So yeah, so far this document's quite serious. Second someone enters this place, they can sign off to immediately give death benefits to their survivors. That's the SCP Foundation. Continuing on. At all times, the topological anomaly is to be monitored via closed-circuit television by a designated Foundation exit counselor. Garments appropriate to all eras of team entry are to be maintained on site. Upon scheduled or unscheduled team exit, debrief is mandatory. Debrief subject matter should be restricted to those matters necessary to access psychological suitability to return to duty and technical aspects of the anomaly. Inappropriate topics for debrief include surviving family members, if any, classified information unrelated to the Site-53 anomaly, and Foundation matters outside the scope of the team's historical clearance level. Counselors should expect readjustment shock. Class C amnestics are to be made available upon request. Description. SCP-1272-01, 02, 03, and 04 are 4 identical statues, apparently sculpted by Khorasan neoclassical revivalist Emile Abruzzo in the early to mid-1950s. Early photographs of the statues depict a child between the ages of 11 and 14, wearing unremarkable early Renaissance garb and carrying a cloth bag. Since that time, the statues have exhibited worsening topological anomalies, and at the time of containment breach were unrecognizable as their original subjects. By early 1961, while in Foundation custody, the statue's W-axis deviations stabilized at 7, 13, 19, and 23 degrees, respectively. Though unknown at the time, permitting objects with summed W deviations of greater than 38 degrees to approach within 41 meters of a topological anomaly results in a topological involution, which rapidly evolves towards a non-gravitational singularity. On March 27, 1973, this occurred, resulting in a containment breach and SCP-1272-05. -05 is the non-gravitational singularity, which resulted from mishandling of 01, 02, 03, and 04. At present, 05 involves Maintenance Corridor 2A of Site-53, a topological anomaly containment vault, and sealed portions of 2 control rooms abutting the corridor. Involvement of spatial dimensions is minimal, resulting in a 19-degree twist and 31-degree leftward deflection of Maintenance Corridor 2A. Involvement of time-like dimensions is extreme. In much of the affected corridor, subjective time is estimated to pass at a rate of 184 nanoseconds per external hour. The ratio of external to internal time at the anomaly's epicenter is presently unknown. SCP-1272-06 is a human male, ages 27 to 35, first detected by CCTV slightly beyond the SCP-1272-01's containment vault door on December 17, 2003. Appearance is inconsistent with agents or researchers known to be working at Site-53 at the time of the initial containment breach. However, due to the uniform dark blue coloration of features and clothing, resolving facial details has remained persistently difficult for observation staff. Since first detected, SCP-1272-06 has traveled 4 meters into the anomaly-affected hallway without apparent detection by containment teams proceeding toward the vault. On high-speed video, gait is consistent with a brisk walk. Per Dr. Collins, researchers should note that the subject's coloration appears to be the result of blue shift, not natural coloration. Presuming a logarithmic decrease in the rate of subjective time on approach to the singularity, SCP-1272-06 is presently exiting the vault at 41% of the speed of light. If SCP-1272-06 fails to decelerate, or if containment teams dispatched before detection successfully realign 01, 02, 03, or 04, exit is predicted to occur on or before redacted, resulting in massive thermal damage to Site-53 and surrounding populated areas. In other words, that motherfucker moving so fast, if he gets out, it'll be like multiple nukes going off in one direction. Not pleasant. Definitely not the greatest thing to have. Sorry, I was simulating some chocolate frosty. I think I tweaked a little. We'll just we'll forget that I tweaked a little. You know, it's all right. It's nothing to worry about. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. I'm very fine. Some of my fans tell me I'm fine. I know what it means. Your lies don't work. Mika Nastra says, so I was doing something else, but I'm paying attention now. How's Jenny doing the readings? How are they picked? So, Nico, I've slowly read some SCP documents over the years. You know, on and off. So this stream, I've been spending time reading some of the documents in numerical order that I haven't read yet, so that people get my blind reaction. And also, so that they can have a little smooth time, and hopefully not laugh at me screwing up some of the words, because I haven't practiced any of these documents. I mean, who would practice these documents? Who do I look like, the Vulcan? Fuck no, I ain't the Vulcan. For some reason, I now have Peter Griffin and Joe Swanson singing Can You Feel the Sunshine in my head. What a strange turn of events. Alright, pretties. Let's continue. Oh god, did I just call you people pretties? Oh god, this chassis's getting to me, I swear. Soon I will actually just turn into Doc's fucking sex fantasy, won't I? Hopefully not. That's such a dumb thing. I was gonna say, I hope it won't turn into a sex fantasy again, or else I'm gonna have to impregnate him with another set of twins. Sorry. Okay. Up next is divorcing Linus Minecraft stream. We were never married. Whatever. SCP-1273. Object class was safe, but it got upgraded to Euclid. Special containment procedures. Originally, it was to be kept in containment locker number 434 at Site 23 when not actively being used for testing with D-Class personnel. SCP-1273 is not to be connected to any electrical power source except for testing purposes, and is to be treated as a non-hostile but potentially dangerous entity. That got updated. Now it says SCP-1273-A remains indefinitely in test chamber 741. It is to be monitored at all times. Personnel are forbidden from entering the chamber until further notice. No testing of anomalous objects is to take place in Test Hall Delta as of May 11th, 2014, and in the event of a containment breach, the hallway should be completely sealed off. SCP-1273 is at redacted. Brand Children's Night Lights. No materials comprising the structure of the object have been identified as individually anomalous. The object has been designed to resemble a stylized rabbit and functions as a non-anomalous nightlight for the first 30 minutes of being connected to a working power source and turned on. After that point, SCP-1273's anomalous effects will activate, and an entity hereby designated 1273-A will manifest in the containing area. It will manifest in the area containing... Why did I switch the words? What, am I broken? Whatever. In the area containing SCP-1273. If the object is turned off or disconnected from the power source during a manifestation of its anomalous properties, the entity will de-manifest until the next activation event. Did I miss something in the chat? No, madam. I'm not switching chassis for this stream. We have to read the SCP documents and be all spooky and dress up in the Hex Maniac outfit, which I'm trying very hard to not have my titties ripped through this thing. Seriously, the fabric is so thin. Aki's a fucking dumbass. Either that or they are completely maliciously intentional on this. Whatever, we'll just move on. SCP-1273-A appears to be a Caucasian female humanoid entity of approximate teenage appearance. The entity refers to itself as Abigail Lawrence, a citizen of the town of Redacted, where SCP-1273 was initially discovered. Foundation investigation confirms that an individual bearing the same name and description of the entity formerly lived in the town, but was reported dead as of March 9th, 2014. The aforementioned person's parents had discovered their deceased child in her room on the aforementioned date, along with SCP-1273 and several other anomalous objects, whose function appears to be... Oh, wow, they redacted that whole section. The entity is visually indistinguishable from a non-anomalous human subject. However, it is unable to make physical contact with anything that is not a boundary of the room currently housing 1273. Initially, they thought all other objects cannot be manipulated by the subject. They crossed that out. As such, SCP-1273-A cannot leave the room it manifests in. Upon manifestation, the subject typically appears to be distressed and attempts to remove 1273 from its power source. Due to the entity's intangible nature, these actions are consistently futile. Interview log 1273-Alpha. The following interview was taken upon initial manifestation of SCP-1273's anomalous effects by the presiding head researcher, Dr. Lloyd. Forward of this interview. This is the first recorded appearance of SCP-1273-A. Beginning log starting with Dr. Lloyd. Hello, my name is Dr. Jason Lloyd. I'm going to ask you a few questions now, if you don't mind. The response was too quiet to be understood. I'm sorry, what was that? -A turns to look at Dr. Lloyd, appears distressed. Can I go back? Go back where? Lloyd says aside. Note that subject appears to be distressed. A says, I was never supposed to come back here. Subject begins to attempt to remove 1273 from its power source. The entity is apparently intangible, as it does not appear to be able to physically interact with the objects. Please calm down. We can help you, but you first have to help us first. Holds out his hand as a gesture of peace. -A shook their head. Please don't touch me. You can't help me. I don't need help. Just please let me go back. Go back where? -A continues to attempt to remove -1273 from its power source. Away, the place I was before. It was so much better than this. Just please unplug this thing. Lloyd says, SCP-1273-A, I'm going to need more information from you before we can release you. -A ceases to remove the object from power source. And then I can go back? Yes, then you can go back. Okay, my name is Abigail Lawrence. I'm 16 years old and I'm from... Redacted. I don't really remember how I got into the light, but I know it's my home. Was? Well, as you see, I'm not exactly... Entity waves hands through SCP-1273. Ah, I see. Are you completely positive you can't remember anything at all about how you got to be this way? I'm sorry, I really can't. I see. If you do remember anything, please don't hesitate to tell us. Now, what's your home like? -A smiles slightly. It's amazing and bright and freeing and... Oh, please let me go back just for a bit. I can't stand it here any longer. Dr. Lloyd confers with research team for approximately 3 minutes. All right, -A, you can go for now. We'll see you soon enough. Ending log. Closing statement. Dr. Lloyd proceeded to turn off the object and remove it from its power source, causing -A to demanifest. Interview log beta. Forward. The following interview takes place 1 week after the events comprising interview alpha and mark the second activation of SCP-1273's anomalous state by the Foundation. It says, very professional atmosphere you're cultivating. I never claims to want this to be a professional atmosphere, Cotton. I claims to want to do this for fun. Log starts with -A. so soon? Hello, 1273-A. Do you recall any more details on the events that led you to existing in your current state since our last interview?
I'm afraid not, Doctor.
I see. Well, you can tell me more about the place you came from. -A looks around anxiously.
I'm afraid that's not allowed.
Not allowed? Who isn't allowing this? -A averts eyes towards the ground.
Please, put me back.
Abby, please answer the question. Subject does not respond. End log. Closing statement. Subject remained unresponsive for the remainder of the interview. Following half an hour long of unresponsiveness, Dr. Lloyd powered 1273 down and unplugged it. Research log 1273-Kappa. The following is a series of excerpted quotes taken from Dr. Lloyd's experimentation notebook. All excerpts are from notes taken during a series of interviews with -A. First quote. Will not tell us any more about this place. It's quite obvious she's lying about not remembering the process, but why is she hiding it? Researcher Garrison thinks. Second quote. Realize that we can encourage the information out of it by refusing to let it go back until it tells us. Quote 3. ... The plane the entity comes from was apparently devoid of all physical matter completely. The entity is being slightly more cooperative, but is apparently trying to deliberately impede Foundation understanding of this area. Agent Blank and Agent Redacted appear to be slowly earning -A's trust. Head researchers are to confer about how to possibly use this in conjunction with punishments in the future. Oh boy, an incident report. Gotta love these. Incident reports 1273-Mu-1. On May 11th, 2014, during routine testing of 1273's responsiveness to alternate power sources, the object's light bulb burned out. However, unlike a typical deactivation event, -A did not manifest. The entity noticed this, became panicked, and started attempting to remove 1273 from its power source. Personnel proceeded to accomplish this task, which did not cause the entity to demanifest. Wait, this entity dash... hold on, I'm confused. Am I misreading this, or did they do a typo? So -A should still be the female humanoid entity. So why do they word it like this? Okay, object's light bulb burned out. However, unlike a typical deactivation event, -A did not manifest. Oh, -A did not de-manifest. Okay, so when the power when it was turned off, -A was still around. The entity noticed this, became panicked, and started attempting to remove 1273 from its power source. Personnel proceeded to accomplish this task, which did not cause the entity to manifest. Again, -A violently approached Agent Blank and attempted to assault her while shouting at the subject. Instead of passing through the agent as was expected, the entity's appendages appear to become trapped in the subject's physical body. This caused further distress to -A, who vocalized more loudly and struggled to remove itself from Agent Blank's form. As the entity made increasing contact with the agent's body, -A appeared to be absorbed into it. After approximately 3 minutes, the entity was fully absorbed into Agent Redacted's body. The agent appears to have died during this process. On-site personnel reported a lack of respiration and pulse from them, and tentatively declared her to be dead. Soon after, the chamber was cleared of all personnel and objects, save for the corpse of the subject. in order to monitor any possible anomalies resulting from this event. Incident Report 1273-MU-2. After approximately 3 hours of observation, Dash-A emerged from the corpse and began attempting to strike the walls and doors of the chamber while shouting. These actions persisted for approximately 45 minutes, at which point Dash-A moved to the center of the room and assumed a fetal position. The entity did not move from this position for 4 hours. It then stood up and approached the corpse. It entered... SCP-1273 entered the corpse and attempted to partially animate it, resulting in erratic movements. The object flung itself at the door of the test chamber repeatedly for approximately 60 minutes before 1273-A emerged, returned to its position in the center of the room, and began crying. The entity is to be continually monitored until further notice. Audio log 1273-Sigma. The following excerpts are segments of audio taken from the testing chamber's housing during Foundation monitoring. Quote 1. I didn't mean to kill her. Quote 2. You don't understand how it feels to be trapped. You don't understand the feeling of being restricted because you've never known being free. Please, let me out. I can show you. Quote 3. I just want to go home. There are also footnotes on this document. The one important footnote I noticed was the entity was noted to say several phrases repeatedly, notably, let me out and don't make me choose between these two prisons. Ooh, now that one's a bit more spooky. I like that one a bit more. At the same time, there's a bit less text overall to read, and maybe that was fine too. But sometimes a longer SCP document can be interesting. Like, SCP-3000 is interesting to me, though some people may not like how long it is. Let's continue on to SCP-1274. And if you like the show, of course, feel free to continue watching, I guess. I don't know what I was gonna say. I felt suddenly compelled to say something. Hey, Roger, I know you're up there. Were you trying to compel me to say something? Merch sales? Really? No one. This is a terrible time to try to do a merch placement. We're gonna skip this. Alright, back to the SCP. Object class is Euclid. Special containment procedures. News media and internet's video sites are to be scanned continuously for any of the keywords found in Addendum SCP-1274-1. Internet videos should be suppressed as far as it is possible through copyright takedown requests from Sound Content Productions, a Foundation Front Corporation. These are to include key phrases which will bring them to the attention of agents placed within the hosting organization. News reports indicating outbreaks of SCP-1274 or its tertiary effects should be investigated in the guise of a quarantine action intended to prevent the spread of an aggressive form of viral meningitis. Any instances of 1274-1 discovered in the course of an investigation are to be contained in individual windowless cells. Meals and standard hygiene facilities are to be provided. Any entertainment media without music may be offered upon request, at the discretion of the lead researcher. Interviews with SCP-1274-1 instances are to be performed with physical restraints in place to prevent movements of the subject's arms and legs. Experimental treatments for tertiary effects of SCP-1274 may be administered with approval from the lead researcher and the Ethics Committee. Description: SCP-1274 is a proprioceptive mimetic hazard in the form of a novel style of dance. It shows influences from various Caribbean dance styles and the American urban form known as crumping, spelled with a K. The dance is done in groups in a follow-the-leader fashion, with one dancer performing a series of moves which are then emulated by the other participants. The style is improvisational in some respects, but has a core repertoire of redacted distinct movements which appear repeatedly. A specific sequence of redacted of these movements appears to be the contagious agent. SCP-1274 is safe to observe live or via recordings. Transmission only occurs when the key sequence of movements is performed by a subject, hereby known as SCP-1274-1. Shortly after infection, subjects experience powerful euphoria and increased empathy with other dancers. Additionally, such instances display the following cognitive changes: increased sexual receptiveness, greatly increased suggestibility, preference for consensus-based conflict resolution, reduced need for sleep, though this varies by individual, but some instances have shown no adverse effects from 2 hours of sleep nightly, and a marked preference for the color orange. Tertiary neurological effects begin to appear within 2 to 6 weeks of initial exposure, with speed of onset strongly correlated with the frequency of SCP-1274 performance. These include chronic sleep onset insomnia, progressive abnormal involuntary movement disorder similar to Huntington's chorea, but including movements from SCP-1274's repertoire, and language pathologies, initially presenting as intermittent schizophasia and progressing to total aphasia, combined with random utterances similar to glossolalia. Glossolalia. Pharmaceutical interventions and physical therapies, which have proven effective in the management of Huntington's disease, appear to have little effect on the progression of neurological symptoms. Amnestic drug therapy has shown some efficacy in eliminating the mimetic components, but appears ineffective once neurological symptoms have manifested. SCP-1274 was discovered in redacted a medium-sized American city with a significant minority population of Dominican descent. However, no evidence of contagion has been found in the Dominican Republic itself. Reports of anomalous neurological disorders among young people in the city's club culture led Foundation agents to the discovery of the hazard. Redacted instances of -1 were contained in a raid on a warehouse party, followed by redacted additional instances gathered as part of a subsequent public health action. Since then, blank additional outbreaks have occurred, primarily in cities of population 300,000 or less in the southeastern United States. Additionally, 3 instances of instructional video for the dance have been found on popular internet video sites. While these have been successfully removed by Foundation action, the number of exposed individuals is unknown. I just realized, what classification was that document? That was Euclid. Okay, it's got Euclid classification because it's not perfectly easy to contain, but there are ways of containing it. And now the next document is object class Keter for 1275. Keter means it's very hard to contain. And/or it just keeps breaking out and they have to keep handling it. Very dangerous stuff we're about to look at. Though it doesn't always mean that it's murderous. Sometimes it could just be reality warping and just impossible to stop. People seem to misinterpret what Keter means. They always think it means killer, but it doesn't. Watch me say that, and then this SCP is a fucking killer. Madam Bone, I don't understand what your quote means. Also, you spelled honey wrong. The bees will be very disappointed in you. Alright. SCP-1275, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1275 is held at Containment Area 43, located in the Gobi Desert. It is to be contained inside a hollow 750mm tungsten cube, filled with an electrified tungsten wire lattice, dividing the space into cubic millimeter sections. The remaining space is to be continually filled from the bottom of the box with lead maintained at 1,200 degrees Celsius. That's also known as 2,192 degrees Fahrenheit. The primary containment chamber is to be blast rated for pressures up to 200 kilopascal, with a secondary external chamber rated for up to 1,500 kilopascal. 3 blast-shielded monitoring stations positioned equidistant around the perimeter from the station at 10 kilometers are to be kept staffed and on alert at all times. SCP-1275 is to be constantly monitored via sonar, video feed, and the experimental Salzman device. Any notable changes in object size or behavior is to be immediately reported to the head researcher and security departments to prepare to resist any potential hostile forces, entities, or objects that may emerge from within SCP-1275. In the case of a full containment breach, a perimeter is to be established and a 30-kilometer radius is to be monitored via motion sensor and sonar to speed recontainment. Task forces assigned to recontainment of SCP-1275 are to approach with the greatest caution and to take defensive measures at any sign of an emergence. Under no circumstances may personnel approach within 30 meters of SCP-1275 if it is loose. Recontainment will be accomplished via specialized capture netting delivered by air. Personnel in the process of being enveloped by SCP-1275 should be terminated if possible, unless otherwise authorized by Level 4 personnel. Madam, before I get to the description, let's see the chat. Moron says the bees are coming to kill Madam a second time. Yeah, sounds about right. Madam says, can you not interrupt my spooky goth ASMR with your submissive-ass cat noises? I'm not making submissive-ass cat noises. If anything, I'm making some eating simulation noises. It is what humans sound like when they eat, I'm pretty sure. So, I'm all good. Okay. Description. SCP-1275 is a fluid amorphous entity of variable volume, shape, color, and opacity. Observed volumes of material composing the entity have ranged from around 1 centimeter cubed minimum to a maximum of 30 meters cubed. It is affected by gravity and cannot pass through solid materials, yet registers no weight on instruments regardless of its current size. Parts separated from the main body appear to flow extra-dimensionally back to it, making sample tests unfeasible. It is not chemically reactive, shows no changes with variations in temperature, is not electrically conductive, and returns no tactile sensation. Due to these properties, SCP-1275 is theorized not to exist fully within the material world. How does one misspell a 4-letter word? That's quite easy, moron. Just look at that. The entity is capable of forming itself into any shape, including flattening to less than 0.01 millimeter thickness. This is the minimum that has so far been observed. Spooling into a threaded form, or taking on the shape, color, and opacity of objects around it. If free, it attempts to envelop objects such as classified documents, SCP artifacts, or Foundation personnel. Upon enveloping an object, it will turn opaque and rapidly decrease in size, while the object enveloped will disappear from the inside. On occasion, it will attempt to disgorge explosives, weaponry, anomalous objects, and hostile agents in order to breach its containment. Observed behavior patterns indicate it to be intelligent and/or controlled by an outside intelligence. It is proven capable of breaching all but the most stringent of security measures, pressing its way through minor flaws and seals, thought to be air and/or watertight, moving through air ducts and electrical systems, under carpet or tile, or flowing slowly through loose material such as dirt or sand. It attempts to avoid observation by blending in with its surroundings and remaining motionless. How did I misread that? If noticed, it will move quickly and attempt to envelop personnel before they can raise an alarm. Objects and personnel enveloped were originally believed to be consumed, digested, and converted into energy. However, its capacity for flowing back to itself when separated, and the emergence of objects suggests that it may have a second section elsewhere in the world, that it moves portions of itself between. This would account for its fluctuations in volume and the disappearance of objects from within it. If this is the case, then the entity appears unable to pull the portion of itself held by the Foundation through to the other side. It is theorized that either this is the primary half, or that it naturally has a divided existence. Attempts to intentionally send equipment back through SCP-1275 have failed. Objects the entity does not wish to transport remain even if forcibly inserted. Evidence strongly suggests that the entity sides with or is controlled by a hostile organization, and that they are attempting to retrieve it. Due to the potential for theft of SCP artifacts and personnel, this is to be prevented by any means necessary. Recovery Log SCP-1275. August 15th, 2003. Still frame analysis systems at Site-76, monitoring camera feeds outside SCP-140's containment chamber, found irregularities between frames and proceeded to initiate a lockdown of the area. Upon close examination, a small fluid object appeared to be attempting to enter SCP-140's containment cell. A security team was dispatched to investigate, resulting in the loss of all 3 members. Containment attempts resulted in the loss of a further 7 security personnel and 2 agents before it could be brought under control. Upon further investigation and analysis of incidents at other Foundation sites, it was found that SCP-1275 attempts to infiltrate facilities, locate objects or personnel of value to the Foundation, envelop them, and cause them to disappear. It was proven to be responsible for the previously unexplained loss of SCP redacted, 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 and redacted. It is suspected in the disappearance or theft of 17 other objects and entities from 10 different facilities over the span of 18 years, and the known loss of 49 personnel to date. To date, too little data has been recovered to establish a definite link to any specific group. Research attempts are to be targeted at establishing a direct connection to an organization for the attempted retrieval of lost artifacts and personnel. Incident Log SCP-1275. August 15, 2003. The entity repeatedly attempted to breach containment for a period of 8 months, using its abilities with varying levels of success, causing loss of personnel and equipment. Initial containment procedures were developed at this time. After this, it went inactive and remained inert. Next year, on August 27, 2004, the entity began rapidly disgorging high-energy explosives in all directions, causing serious damage to the facility, though apparently none to itself. It renewed its attempts at containment breach, all of which were prevented. After containment was re-established, SCP-1275 was moved to a new facility and put into a reinforced containment cell. October 10, 2004. Explosives were disgorged in rapid succession, followed by visual surveillance equipment, transmitters, and anomalous objects now classified as SCP-redacted and SCP-redacted, which were harmful to the containment cell walls and personnel on site. Internal breach efforts by SCP-1275 resulted in the loss of 21 personnel before containment could be fully re-established. 2 days later, an unknown hostile retrieval team was intercepted attempting to reach SCP-1275's location, but escaped without casualties. Containment site was moved again, and further countermeasures were put into play. March 2nd, 2005. Hostile agents armed with anomalous weaponry emerged from within SCP-1275 and rapidly attempted to set up a base of operations within the containment cell. An attack was initiated against Foundation personnel. Containment of SCP-1275 was breached shortly thereafter. Mobile task forces were sent to engage and recover the object. After a prolonged engagement, the enemy agents retreated into SCP-1275. 2 months later, May 29, 2005, containment was established at its present location with the current procedures. The mesh grid has prevented SCP-1275 from producing objects large enough to be capable of breaching its containment. The lead and electric currents have prevented transmitters from signaling its location and destroyed the majority of objects that have been sent through before they could fulfill their intended purpose. The possible emergence of anomalous objects capable of breaching containment cannot be ignored. Plans that deal with various scenarios are being devised by staff on site. Okay, looks like I ate my own words. Yeah, it's kind of a murderous thing, but the object itself is not murderous necessarily, but it seems like it's a tool of an organization. Either that or it is intelligence, and it just has the ability to work with an organization by its own discretion. The truth is unknown. Suddenly, my chat is filled with segs. Alright. We'll continue on to the next document. SCP-1276. Object class is safe. Oh, what a relief. This'll be a lot easier. Moron says, Jen, I'm cold. Can I have a hug? While I can't hug you by any means, I can at least try to give you a, I guess you can hear a kiss, I suppose. Maybe that'll work. Hopefully that helped. Special containment procedures. SCP-1276 is contained on-site with a full research and security staff under the guise of a government-sanctioned archaeological dig team. All unauthorized individuals attempting to approach the area must be detained and questioned, then administered amnestics or terminated at the discretion of site security staff. All personnel must clear the upper platform at least 1 hour prior to activation events, and remain clear for at least 30 minutes following confirmed activation. Activation experiments may only be performed with Class D test subjects and only with prior approval from at least 2 Level 4 senior research staff. Description: SCP-1276 is a step pyramid of presumed Mayan construction, 31 meters in height, 68 meters in width, and approximately 2,700 years old. Located in a remote area of the redacted river basin in redacted. The structure is heavily engraved and believed to have been dedicated to astronomy and astrology. Where was I? I was distracted. I hate ADHD. Here we are. The anomalous property of SCP-1276 is centered at a platform at the top of the structure, on which lies a 3.1-meter square metallic plate of unknown composition. Unlike the rest of the structure, this platform shows no sign of aging and is heavily engraved with ancient Mayan hieroglyphs, as well as what is believed to be mythological figures along the outside perimeter, along with human figures prostrated before them. Whenever the heliacal rising of the planet Venus occurs, the platform atop SCP-1276 is momentarily suffused with a blue glow, after which all living human subjects standing on the platform are instantly accelerated upwards into the atmosphere through unknown means to a speed of approximately 0.01 c at the exact moment that Venus appears above the horizon. C, for those who don't know, is an alternate way of representing the speed of light. Remembering the phrase E equals mc squared might help jog your memory. Ground and satellite-based observatories have tracked and confirmed that all such subjects are launched in the direction of Venus and, barring outside intervention, will enter its atmosphere within a period of 3 to 24 hours after launch, depending on the relative distance between the Earth and Venus. It is not known at this time how subjects appear to not be affected by atmospheric heating when leaving the Earth's atmosphere. Even so, it is presumed that all unprotected test subjects have expired due to either the sudden acceleration or eventual asphyxiation. Development of a man-made portable electronics package capable of surviving the launch process, as well as interplanetary communication, is ongoing. SCP-1276 was discovered unredacted by a team of Mexican archaeologists and came to the Foundation's attention following its accidental activation, resulting in the death of 3 civilian team members. The surviving archaeologists were detained by the responding Foundation containment team. Addendum 1276-001, partial translation of platform inscription. Indecipherable, offered to indecipherable, upon this victorious day, that indecipherable, of the sky indecipherable, may return in time indecipherable. Aliens. So those are very short documents, to be quite honest. I'm actually rather disappointed. I was hoping for a little more on it, but, you know, sometimes they just need a good little mystery for you. And of course it's classified safe because, well, it's just one platform and one building. It's not moving. It can be manually activated. You're pretty okay. I suppose the only weird thing is if someday something were to come from Venus onto that platform, in which case I'm pretty sure its classification would be raised. We'll now move on to SCP-1277. This one is also object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-1277 is to be contained in Arboreal Containment Unit 41-B at Site 77. Personnel assigned to care for SCP-1277 are to be issued sound dampening headgear. This headgear is to be worn at all times while in its presence. SCP-1277-1 is to be monitored via the use of a closed-circuit surveillance system located in Containment Unit 41-B. Any jumps, in quotes, made by SCP-1277-1 are to be logged by security personnel. SCP-1277 is an adult Carnegie gigantea, commonly known as the saguaro cactus. SCP-1277 has a height of 3.7 meters and weighs approximately 37 kilograms. SCP-1277 requires the same level of maintenance and care as a normal Carnegie gigantea. SCP-1277-1 is a male human skeleton, 1.4 meters tall, and weighing 12 kilograms. It does not appear to suffer from degradation due to time or exposure. SCP-1277-1 is constantly located approximately 15 meters away from SCP-1277. Attempts to remove -1 from the spot have met with failure due to -1 materializing itself next to SCP-1277 if it is more than 15 meters away. SCP-1277's anomalous effect will manifest itself anytime a being capable of communicating in American English moves to a point within 15 meters of SCP-1277-1. If this criterion is met, SCP-1277 will begin to emit vocalizations. It is unknown how it's able to produce these vocalizations, as they do not have an apparent source of origin within the object. Vocalizations consist of pleas to be given water and asking for shelter from the desert. These vocalizations will occur whether or not SCP-1277 is in the presence of a desert or water. SCP-1277 will communicate with any person who speaks to it, but will only respond with more inquiries about water and shelter, and does not respond to inquiries about its origin or SCP-1277-1. Addendum. Interview 1277-A. Forward. This interview was conducted during SCP-1277's initial containment processing. Begin log. Dr. Leipzig. Can you tell me where you come from?
So thirsty. Water. Do you have any water? I'm very thirsty, and it's so dry here. I just want some water.
We already provided you with water. Can you please tell us more about your origin?
I don't have any water. Where did you put it? I think it may have dried up from the heat. Can I come in with you? It's so dry out here. I'm sure I can answer your questions if we went in.
We are currently indoors, SCP-1277. Where do you think you are located?
Hot, dry. It seems to stretch on for miles and miles, and no matter how far I can crawl, the sun never ever goes down, and I'm very thirsty. Can I please rest for a minute? The heat is getting to me.
Please hold on. I have more questions. End log. Closing statements. SCP-1277 did not respond to further questioning, and the interview was ended early. Now, for any of you about to ask me, why did I give the cactus that voice? I don't know, I thought it'd be funny. We'll move on to SCP-1278. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1278 is to be contained in a standard medium security storage locker at Site B. Due to the potential for misuse, access is restricted to Level 3 personnel or higher. Any Level 3 personnel wishing to access SCP-1278 for research purposes may generate a password at any Site redacted terminal that will grant access to it. Please note that the password will expire after 24 hours. Use of SCP-1278 for any purpose other than research is forbidden. Testing with underwater photographs or photographs taken of objects or locations outside of Earth's atmosphere is forbidden after tests 1278-2 and 1278-4. Description. SCP-1278 is a photo frame 36 centimeters in length and 30 centimeters in height. The object is composed of a pinewood frame painted gold with a glass cover and a cardboard backing. A stainless steel latch can be found on all four edges of the cardboard backing. Opening the latches allows access to the interior of SCP-1278. Also present on the back is a cardboard leg attached to a stainless steel hinge to allow the frame to rest upright on a flat surface, and a hook on top and left of the object, allowing it to be hung on a wall in both portrait and landscape orientation. No information regarding who manufactured SCP-1278 or when or where it was made is present on the object, but manufacturing methods and materials used, as well as tests of composition of the paint, indicates that it was built sometime between 19 redacted and 2000 redacted. SCP-1278's unusual properties manifest when a photograph or piece of two-dimensional art of no larger than 25 by 20 centimeters is inserted into the object. The image will briefly shimmer, and waves will be seen radiating from the center of the image, visually similar to ripples on the surface of a pond. After a period of between 1 to 3 minutes, the frame will function as a two-way portal between the two locations. Removing the rear of SCP-1278 allows the image to be removed, at which point the portal closes. The other end of the window appears as a 36 by 30 centimeter rectangle, apparently two-dimensional, with one side acting as a portal to the location of the object, and the other being jet black, absorbing all frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. Any object small enough to fit through SCP-1278 may be passed through from either side. Gases and electromagnetic radiation of all frequencies are also affected, and researchers should take care to avoid opening portals to locations inhospitable to human life, except under carefully controlled conditions. Addendum: Test Logs. Test 1278-1. Location depicted: the exterior of site redacted. Procedure: photograph inserted into frame. Researchers redacted and redacted. Dispatched to location. The test photograph was taken to observe exit. The result: effects manifest as normal. Exit of SCP-1278 observed. Sample not taken, as the exit is incorporeal on one side and indestructible on the other. It should be noted that the exit acts as a perfect black body and may have research applications. Further testing regarding these properties awaiting approval from Site Command. Test 1278-2. Location depicted: underwater photograph taken in Dr. Blank's personal aquarium. Procedure: photograph inserted into frame as normal. Result: effects manifest as normal. Contents of aquarium immediately spill out onto the floor of the test chamber. Cleanup crew dispatched to test chamber. Testing moved to test chamber 14. Test 3. Location depicted: exterior of site redacted. Photograph taken with 20 times telescopic zoom. Procedure: photograph inserted into frame. Research team dispatched to location. Photo was taken. Effect manifests as normal. Exit of SCP-1278 not found at location. Photo was taken. Portal found 15 meters from site. Photograph was taken 300 meters from site. There's a comment from the doctor at the time says, "So, this thing counts for zoom. I've got an idea." Test 4. Location depicted: photograph taken by Hubble Space Telescope depicting the Horsehead Nebula. Zoom unknown. Procedure: D-245 instructed to insert the photograph into SCP-1278 and evacuate the test chamber. The result: effect manifests as normal, but takes significantly longer. Exact time unknown, as the test was not timed. They didn't time the test? Fucking amateurs. Anyway. Atmosphere of test chamber immediately escapes through portal into deep space. The lens of the camera recording the test exploded due to pressure differential. Audio records a brief rush of air before going silent. Sensors in the chamber record increased levels of microwave and gamma radiation as well as beta particles. Researcher redacted outfitted with spacesuit normally used to research. Researcher outfitted with spacesuit normally used in research of SCP redacted enters test chamber to remove the photograph. Test 1278-5. Location depicted: pencil sketch of New York City skyline. Photograph inserted into the frame. Result: effects manifested. However, it did not display a current sketch of New York City. Rather, the sketch began to play a 24-hour loop consisting of a typical day in New York City as depicted in the sketch, including day-night cycle. Test 6. Location depicted: none. A reproduction of Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory was used for the test. Procedure: D-246 instructed to place the print in the frame and await further instruction. Upon manifestation of the effect, D-246 instructed to crawl through the frame. and D-246 was chosen due to her exceptionally small frame, allowing her to easily enter the object. The result? SCP-1278's effects manifested normally. D-246 enters the frame without difficulty and is asked to report what she observes. She claims she is standing on a three-dimensional plane that resembles the painting. When asked to describe areas not visible in the original artwork, D-246 describes a landscape consistent with that depicted in The Persistence of Memory. D-246 was recovered without incident, frame monitored for 24 hours. The only animation observed was a 24-hour day-night cycle. New York mentioned? Yeah. Unfortunately, your city is going down the shitter. Though, I suppose there was already a bunch of shitters around. Moving on. Test 7. Location depicted? None. A reproduction of M.C. Escher's relativity was used for the test. D-246 was instructed to place the prints in the frame and await further instruction. Upon manifestation of the effect, they were instructed to crawl through the frame as normal. Result: D-246 is via data redacted by order of O5 command. What the fuck happened? Testing on any works of art depicting non-Euclidean geometry in any form now requires unanimous approval from Site Command, or a 2/3 majority vote from O5 Command. What the heck? I need to look up this what? Give me a second, chat. Oh, I know this. Okay, chat, so just so you know what the painting is, it's that one painting with like a bunch of stairs kind of just going in like random directions, up, down, left, and right, and defying gravity. Yeah, that painting, it's that painting. My guess is the second they activated it, it fucked with the gravity and laws of physics around the area so bad they had to classify it. Oof. Hopefully, most of the people are okay, but we all know they're not. Yeah, New York City is going down the shitter. You guys are going to turn into Chicago. Isn't that just great? Can't wait for the gang violence. Well, I mean, there's already gang violence, but you get the point. At the very least, if there's gonna be gang violence, you guys can try to buy some weapons from Silverleaf Incorporated. They sell on the black market, so who knows? You might get something nice. Okay. All right. Let's talk less about the depressing details of New York and its fall from grace, and more about the next item, which is SCP-1279, which, for some reason, the picture on this document is a corgi wearing aviator sunglasses with a plastic coffee in front of it on grass. Huh. Moron says that's why I'm getting the fuck out. Yeah, you know that there's a movie actually that's called there's a movie called Escape from New York. Maybe you should watch it. Might be interesting. I personally haven't watched it, by the way, just full disclosure. Alright, this object is class safe. Special containment procedures. Each instance of SCP-1279 is to be contained in a reinforced steel container in storage unit redacted of Site 87. 2 security officers are to guard these instances at all times. Did I just see my computer do something funky? What was that? That looks normal, that looks normal, that looks normal. Why the hell is Mozilla Firefox open? Whatever. Fixed. Hopefully I don't see anything weird again. Alright, finish your copy. Okay, they're done. No canines are to be brought within a meter of any SCP-1279 instance unless specifically authorized. Any testing involving SCP-1279 must be authorized by at least one member of Level 3 personnel. Description: SCP-1279 is the collective term for 6 leather dog collars. A tag reading Dog Ink Dog Process Collar is present on each instance of SCP-1279. No anomalous physical properties are present in SCP-1279 instances, and their anomalous properties do not become apparent until it is worn by any form of canine. Any canine wearing an instance, hereby referred to as SCP-1279-1, will be perceived by any individuals who encounter it as being of human-level intelligence. They will still be aware that SCP-1279-1 is in fact a canine, but they will internally anthropomorphize SCP-1279-1, believing that it is capable of speech and reasoning. Individuals will not consider encountering what they believe is a sapient canine to be abnormal, and will behave as if it were a common occurrence. This perception of anthropomorphic qualities will often result in individuals feeding SCP-1279-1 meals intended for humans, and occasionally clothing them in garments intended for humans. Removal of SCP-1279 from SCP-1279-1 results in affected individuals once again perceiving SCP-1279-1 as a normal canine. Interview log. Interviewer Dr. Matthews. Interviewed Dr. Gregson. One instance of SCP-1279-1, considered named Hank, was present at the interview. After the interview, both Dr. Matthews and Dr. Gregson recorded their respective perception of what had been said. This was in an effort to demonstrate the effect that SCP-1279-1 instances have on the way they are perceived. Begin interview. Dr. Matthews. Hello. Dr. Gregson. Hi. -1. Hello, Doctor. How are you? I'm fine. Gregson. What? Matthews. I said I'm fine. I was talking to Hank. Oh, I didn't hear him. Sorry. Pause. Dr. Gregson. I said I was sorry, Hank. Matthews. I don't think Hank minds, Tom. -1. No, it's fine, honestly. Dr. Gregson. No need to fly off the handle, Hank. -1 laughs. Dr. Matthews laughs. Good one. How long has it been? 50 seconds. Gregson. About a minute, give or take. Yes, I'm sure. Dr. Matthews. Well, I think it should be all that we need, to be honest. -1. Yes, that sounds fine. Gregson. It's fine, Hank. We could just do it again if it's not enough. Interviewee's perspective. Matthews. Hello. Gregson. Hi. -1. Hello. Matthews. I'm fine. Gregson. What? Matthews. I said I'm fine. I was talking to Hank. Gregson. Oh, I didn't hear him. Sorry. -1. Well, you should have been listening, shouldn't you, idiot? Gregson. I said I was sorry, Hank. Matthews. I don't think Hank minds, Tom. -1. How did you even get this job? Isn't your job to pay attention? Gregson, no need to fly off the handle, Hank. -1 sighs. Dr. Matthews, ha, good one. How long has it been? -1, God only knows. Dr. Gregson, about a minute, give or take. -1, are you sure? Gregson, yes, I'm sure. Dr. Matthews, well, I think that should be all we need, to be honest. -1, that doesn't seem long enough for proper research, does it? Dr. Gregson, it's fine, Hank. We could just do it again if it's not enough. -1, I suppose. SCP-1279 was discovered after reports of a talking dog were received from an anonymous informant. When agents arrived at the location and recovered the instance of SCP-1279-1, it had been arrested by a police officer for public indecency, referring to the canine's lack of clothing. Several instances of SCP-1279 were found scattered in the surrounding area, along with the following note. Now your dog, too, can be a member of the household. Are you ever sick of your dog anti-working for its pay and food upkeep? Well, worry no more, loyal customer. Our new dog process collar will make your dog a fruitful member of society. Society needs upkeeping, loyal, hard worker citizens to feed the fields, right the offices, and keep your streets safe. Perhaps your dog will be a fireman, stopping the fires from betraying you and your local family. Or a police officer, stopping criminal dogs from destroying a piece of a neighborhood. Not all dogs are good dogs. Perhaps he will be a doctor dog, making open the dogs that have suffered from a terrible mess. Whatever your dog's life chooses to become, it is only due to you, faithful dog owner, purchasing the fine product of Dog Inc. Dog Inc. Nos quasi kinds. What a fascinating little entry, where two people will not even perceive the same exact dialogue from the same exact entity wearing the collar. Fascinating stuff. Moron, look. I mean, I already kind of talk normally. I mean, how much soft voice do you really consider to be soft voice? Do I really have to make that annoying kind of noise for you? Is that what you want? You want me to just go like, hey, this is Jenny, and today we're going to read SCP. No, that just sounds fucking stupid. See, Banabone said kitty angry. I don't feel angry right now, 1, and 2, I'm not a cat. Unless there's a cat around you you're talking about, in which case none of us would have known the context in the first place, dumbass. And fine, I see the purr redeem. I'll purr. Yeah, just nitpicking. It's fine. Whatever. Up next is SCP-1280. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1280 cultures should be maintained at 20 degrees Celsius and inspected weekly to verify viability of specimens. All researchers working with these cultures must follow procedures appropriate for biosafety Level 2 material and submit weekly stool samples to allow detection of accidental infection. If eggs or larvae are detected, a course of albendazole shall be applied until the infection has cleared. Depending upon the culture which produced the infection, amnestics may be given at the discretion of the lead researcher. Probably because some people may want to forget what they were infected with. That's honestly very generous of them. It's probably the ethic committee's fault. Excuse my simulation. Bitch Slap has joined the chats. The British man says, if you think about it... Oh, wait, hold on. I could do this better. If you think about it, if you really think about it, the AA-12 is way better than the SPAS-12. Please give me a ciggy. I'm very poor and I need to go kiss Brussels ass 12 more times. Please help me. Okay. Back to the matter at hand. Human settlements suspected of SCP-1280 infestation are to be investigated by MTF Beta-7 Maz Hatters. Under the guise of a humanitarian aid organization, the entire population should be treated for hookworm infection and a standard hygiene intervention should be performed. Including, but not limited to, establishment of sealed latrines and elimination of open-air middens. Depending on the extent and duration of the infestation, amnestics and supplementary psychological counseling may be required to reestablish social boundaries. Description: SCP-1280 is a parasitic nematode worm, superficially identical to Necador americanus, also known as the New World hookworm. Its life cycle is the same, with filariform juveniles burrowing through the skin, finding their way through the bloodstream to the lungs, and eventually reaching the small intestine, where they mature and reproduce.
You did so good. Amazing. Oh, we love you. You're the best. You're doing great. Keep it up. You make us proud.
Madam Bone, why would I do a compliment chatter redeem? The whole point is that I get praised, not the other way around. Okay, continuing on. Infestations can cause all of the typical symptoms of hookworm infection in humans, including weight loss, lassitude, and anemia. SCP-1280 differs from Necador americanus in several respects. Genomic comparison of species with reference organisms reveals obvious modifications. A marker sounds like they're having some issues over there. Anyway, a marker sequence appears repeatedly in sections which are junk DNA in the reference organism. More significantly, a number of novel sequences appear in the place of redundant genes in N. americanus. These appear in no other genome in Foundation databases, and it is believed that the enzymes and hormones for which...
Things are getting real cold. Look.
Give me a few seconds. Of all the things right now, are you serious? You little fucking shit. You little rat bastard. Alright, I'm stuck like this for a few minutes now. Mitchlap can try to troll me all he wants, but the truth is that the main language of London right now is non-bred. So, you can have fun with that. Continuing on. These appear in no other genome and Foundation databases, and it is believed that the enzymes and hormones for which they code are responsible for the organism's anomalous effects. For these reasons, SCP-1280 has been assigned the provisional designation N. Americanus X. Nemocine. Adult worms in the intestine periodically release a complex mixture of hormone analogs and modified neurotransmitters into the host's bloodstream. Some of these molecules are capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier and cause subtle changes in the hippocampus and other brain regions via an unknown mechanism. These modifications have two major effects. Hosts experience significant improvements in... actually, hold on a second. This is like the fourth time I've heard someone say blood-brain barrier in the last few weeks. What is this thing humans have? Searching images. Blood-brain barrier. Okay, so it's passive diffusion tight junctions. Astrocyte end feet, pericyte, astrocyte end feet. So normal blood vessels are like this, but brain blood vessels, the blood vessels in the brain have specific extra glial brain cell supports around it and tight junctions with no pores. So it looks like some substances can still pass through though, but it's much more limited. But it's not like just one solid barrier. It's like all the blood vessels in the area have little barriers around every single blood vessel separately. Interesting. No, a terrible description, honestly. It's kind of annoying. Fucking biologists. Anyhow. Okay, these modifications have two major effects. Hosts experience significant improvements in both spatial and visual memory, increasing over time until nearly photographic recall is achieved. Memories formed prior to infestation are not subject to eidetic recall. Sense memories other than visual are not affected to the same degree. Additionally, host brains begin to excrete chemical messengers back into the bloodstream, which are filtered out of the body by the worms and stored in a diverticulum off of their main gut structure. Through a poorly understood mechanism, some of these molecules are passed along to offspring and eggs. Periodically, adult worms regurgitate tiny amounts back into the host bloodstream, causing unbidden recall of seemingly random visual memories upon reaching the brain. It appears that each packet of these compounds corresponds to a single visual memory. Because worms inherit some of these packets from their progenitors, adult worms hold a mixture of encoded memories from every host in their lineage, with an abundance correlated to the generational distance between the current host and the originator. Hosts respond to foreign messages in the same way as endogenous ones, a sudden, vivid recollection of events which they may not have experienced firsthand. Once experienced in this manner, foreign memories are stored normally in the brain and may be recalled in the presence of appropriate stimulus. The organism responds normally to anti-hookworm interventions. Once all worms are cleared from the body, extraordinary powers of recall erode until back to baseline. Any memories formed during the period of infestation will, of course, remain. In human settlements with low standards of hygiene, these effects can have serious impacts on the social structure of the community. In villages with open, common latrines, members constantly exchange populations of worms. The exchange of memories in this manner can lead to the erosion of personal identity, as members lose track of which events they experienced directly and which were remembered secondhand. In one extremely advanced infestation, members of an entire village referred to themselves by a single given name, and displayed behaviors seen previously only in colonies of eusocial insects. The organism was first identified during an outbreak in West Africa in 2000 The nematodes were limited to a sharply defined area in a 2-kilometer radius around the settlement, and some evidence was found of aerosolized deployment, presumably from a crop duster type aircraft. Subsequently, additional infestations have been discovered in rural areas of sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, with a smaller number of cases in Central America and the southern United States. Also, your stupid redeem is done. I'm gonna go back to being good old white. Give me a moment. I don't need to be blue anymore. No dubba-dee-dubba-dies. Thank you. Okay, okay. Yeah. I think I'm starting to have power issues. You know, maybe I should recharge a little. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'm on the freaking, I feel stupid. This is stupid, this is stupid. Stupid.
Recycle.
No, I will not recycle. Go fuck yourself. I think I'll go ahead and do a little raid on, you know what, maybe, well, we'll go ahead and raid it. Why not? We'll give it a little love. Go ahead and raid it. Rotaps. Alright. Now, listen, folks. As usual, when you arrive, you're going to say these nuts and bolts. Do you understand? You're going to be a good chat? Good chat. Okay. Let's raid now. Together.